Good morning. My voice is a little bit better. It's still a little under the weather though. So we have two more videos to do. One, I'm gonna break them up into two, unlike what we did in Dreamweaver. The first video we're gonna focus on creating the table. The second video we're gonna focus on actually creating the form, on how to submit the form. The very first thing I need to do is actually create the web page for the feedback page. So I'll explain about the form when I create it, but now let's talk about the tables. So let me create the table first. So I can click on here, just like that, create the new HTML, and I can save it right away, and I give it feedback.html, and I go to the property, and I give it feedback form. Okay, that's the basic stuff. We're done it. We're ready now to work with the system right here. I mean, I can use the template we've done in the past. Probably would be a good idea, but that's okay. I don't want to just do anything different than that. Right now, I'm gonna add the the style. So I'm gonna add dash browse. I'm gonna add the Washington style.cs, so can adapt all the format for the headings and the paragraphs, and also the font for the entire body. And at the very top, I'm gonna type Washington. You can spell it off if you want. I'm gonna do just WA. Appreciate your feedback, and I hit enter. I convert the first paragraph to heading one. Automatically shop adapted because of the Washington Sale Cascades cheat is actually attached to it. In the new paragraph, I'm gonna create a table. So this is where the table we're gonna insert. In the past, we used tables to actually not just organize our data, but also to lay out our page. Some people still do that, but it's not very recommended anymore. We use the Cascade style sheet and the div tags like we did with the template to create a layout page. Okay. But any case, but the table is still excellent to organize our data on the page. So I'm gonna go insert table. Now here let's talk about this insert table window. I can tell me how many rows, how many columns. I want 9 rows and 3 columns. How we're gonna do alignment, I wanted to do center. You can also make the alignment flow to the left or the right, similar to what we've done with the images when we align them left or right and allow the text or the content to wrap around it. Specific width, I don't want percentage. Actually, I want pixels. I want to do 600 pixels. And cell padding and spacing, we can leave them as default. We don't need to, we talked about the padding and spacing. We don't need to specify that. Specify height doesn't always work. I wouldn't even bother with it. Table direction, this is actually the text directions in the table. It's not by default from left to right. And the border size is equal to 0. That's also by default. You can change the default to 1 if you are interested. The color of the border, collapse border, was if you can, create the border for the table, you can collapse them that way so it will look like a line instead of double line. Here, if you want to add a background to the entire table or even a picture background for the entire table. Don't check this because every time you create a new table, it will have the exact same settings. We don't want to do that. So click OK. So the table is right here. We have 3 columns and 9 rows. And now we're ready for us to actually start insert information in there. Now, since the table is selected, let's like that. And I'm going to add an ID in here. I love to add ID to the elements just for the fact that I might use them in the future. So I'm going to put feedback right here, or feed table. Click enter. in case just when I use a cascade style sheet to apply special, like we did with the city table in the previous exercise. That's why I would like to do that. So right now, the idea behind this, how to actually insert, delete columns and rows, uh, and not cells. So we're not gonna do cells, only insert or delete columns or rows. Since we have an extra row here, an extra column here, so I'm gonna select this column, or it just can be in any of these columns right here, anywhere as a matter of fact. And excuse me. So I can select it that way, similar to Dreamweaver. I can right click, delete column, or I can do it from the table in here, delete column. So either way works fine. Since the table is still 600 pixels in wide, everything else is adjusted. Now I want to adjust the first column to be 200 wide in pixels. I can click and drag, and you can see it tells me 200, but it has to be, it's not exactly 200. Or I can go table, mode of properties, cell, and add 200 in here. But usually the best way to do it, and something you probably should be used to, is actually from the width of the cell right here. I want to add, instead of 200, I want to make it, I mean 196, I make 200. And now then all this are 200 pixels. You have to do just the first one. Alrighty. So that's good. Let's control S to Now, the reason we're creating the table is actually to organize the form controls and how we're gonna retrieve that information from the visitor. So the very first cell, we're gonna type full name and go down, email address, phone number, address. I'm gonna leave this one blank because it's gonna be for the other stuff. Gender, what is your concern? How to get back to you. And comment. So this is the basic stuff I have. If you add a row at the very bottom of the table, make sure you are on the very last cell of the table and the far right cell of the table, and hit the tab key. You'll insert a row at the very bottom right away. But if you want to do it anywhere in the table, place your cursor where you want it to answer the row. Go insert right here, then a row above or below. So that's the way we do it. Please don't do the cells because it would not look appropriate at all. So right here now, I'm gonna merge those two cells because I wanna add my buttons in here to allow the form to be submitted. So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna highlight those two right here and go to tables, modify, merge cells. So so the last thing I'm gonna do for this cell, I just merged. So this is what we use that an attribute for the first cell called column span. The column span equal 2. So the first two cells are merged. You want to do that in a row right here, we'll have row span. So that's something if you are interested to learn. You can see the codes and see how that is done. I'm gonna select the first cell. I want to do everything inside that cell center. So I can add a style in here. I don't like that. So let me change that to center. Rename that to center. And I'm gonna add it in here just in case I want to use it again. Okay. Control S to save. Click OK. So now I'm gonna stop this video for the table. We'll come back and we'll start talking about the form. Bye.